Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Hey, welcome back to another fun episode of Next to Madison. This is episode 191. This episode is so fun, so enlightening. It was probably one of the most frightening conversations that I've had, not in a bad way, but just of kind of where our economy is moving. And this episode is so important because you need to have the knowledge to prepare to be able to seize the opportunities that are coming up in more of a digital world. So I am sitting down with somebody who is a well-known crypto coach named Brando Murphy, and we dive into everything. We talk about how crypto is actually 90% spiritual and 10% digital. We also talk about FTX and what happened there and his opinions on that, of how it could have been orchestrated. We talk about the upcoming crypto regulation and how it will impact the markets. We talk about how he finds knowledge that is not being pushed on the media. Usually when the media or Jim Cramer is talking about something, it's probably something they want you to buy for a reason. So look at other avenues and things that are not being talked about. Those are the things they don't want you to buy for a reason. There's a lot of ways to create wealth, but it's not going to be what you're just hearing on the news. So we talk about the upcoming central bank digital currencies, which could be very, very frightening. But how to prepare and kind of grab the knowledge, talk about buying strategies. Again, this is not financial information. This is just opinions. So always do your own research. We also talk about, fears and how to kind of mitigate those and staying in faith. But yeah, we talk about a lot of great things, great coins that people might not be aware of because the mainstream media is not talking about them. So I hope you guys enjoy this conversation as much as I did. It is mind-blowing, but it is positive, but it is also frightening. But it's only frightening because it's going to wake you up to say, okay, I need to really educate myself because knowledge is power. So do not tune out. Listen to this episode all the way through. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, contact@nexttomadison.com. And you can also leave comments. We will respond to those on the YouTube channel. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy this episode, and it'll be right back after this brief message.
Hey, it's Madison Malloy. I'm excited to announce that my new book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up, is now available online and in stores. You can pick up your copy today by going to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. This new book is a humorous self-help guide to help you remove the obstacles that are holding you back so you can take things less seriously and live a more enjoyable life. I'm so excited for you to read it. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. We are with our guest on this very exciting episode of Next to Madison. I'd like to welcome Brando Murphy, crypto coach. How are you?
I'm doing blessed, Madison. How are you?
I am good. I'm so excited to talk about this topic because, pardon me, as many of our listeners know, I love crypto, and obviously a lot of people have lost faith given everything that's kind of gone on with FTX and then BlockFi and just kind of the unknown and where regulation's going. And so, yeah, I think this will be a good conversation. Again, this is not financial information. These are purely our opinions. So always do your research before investing. Yeah, I personally think it's a great time to buy, but that's just, again, my opinion. So what do you say? How do you think that the upcoming regulation, because we know that's going to happen, is going to impact the crypto market?
Well, first, let me just say this. I share the same sentiment with you. I think this is the prime opportunity to buy. Warren Buffett has said it best. When there's blood in the streets, you buy. Whenever there's fear, we buy. So me personally, I'm buying. But what I see coming forward with the upcoming regulations is nothing but more money pouring into the market. I feel like this is a positive. Mm-hmm. I feel like events that have happened within this space that have led to fear were done on purpose to bring in regulations. You need certain events to happen within this new asset classes And I believe that it was all orchestrated events to bring in regulations. Because if we're honestly looking at it, in the emerging markets, regulations are already starting to take place.
Mm-hmm.
But people are not really focused on that because they're focused on the mainstream narratives, which is FTX, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and ignoring what's actually being rolled out. And I just think it's a positive overall for crypto. Anybody who understands the true potential and the opportunity at hand, because most people don't.
Well, exactly. And so go into a little more detail of why you think it was orchestrated on purpose, because Sam Bankman-Fried was a large donor to that party. So what's your kind of, thoughts on what really went down?
Well, I'm the type of guy, like, I like to dive off in the deep end. I like to
Me too.
investigate truth on my own terms. I don't believe in the narratives that are put out on the mainstream media. And I believe in doing the research and connecting the dots. Uh, I've been in this space since 2016, and I have seen a lot of companies go under, and especially a lot of exchanges, platforms that say they're going to give you yield or rewards on your
Yeah.
crypto.
Uh-huh.
I can name so many, and I believe they were all put here on purpose to take people's money, number one, to create fear, and to honestly keep people out. Because if you have fear, then you won't put your money in. If you don't believe or understand how particular things really work, you won't invest. And I also think, you hear certain narratives also out there that kind of produce a fear mindset also to keep people out.
Yeah.
So, like with the whole FTX thing, I mean, if you just look at how much money was given to paid spokespersons,
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Kevin O'Leary, et cetera, et cetera. You could see where the money was given to in Ukraine and back to the Democratic Party. If you look at who his parents are and who some of the people that were working on behalf of FTX, who they're connected to, I mean, 6 degrees of separation. Money
Yeah.
has been given all over the place. And I mean, what ended up happening? People lost out. It created more fear. People who were in crypto on that platform lost all of their funds. People who were thinking about getting into crypto aren't getting into crypto. And
Mm-hmm.
people who are already in crypto right now, they don't even know enough information, and they're not in the right assets to benefit from the opportunities. So if I look at it and I zoom out and see if this was an orchestrated event, of course, because even if you look at certain even I'm looking at recently, they have on Netflix coming out, they have Bernie Madoff, a new documentary coming out. And if you look at the timing of that, also there was a documentary I just recently watched, Enron. They're comparing FTX to the Enron collapse, which I also believe was orchestrated. And,
Interesting.
even if we go back to the dot-com boom,
Yeah.
the same thing was happening. They shook people out of these assets. They bring spokespeople. They bring people who are trusted advisors or experts, so to speak, and they tell you, "Oh, I wouldn't hold that. It's not good." So if you hear that, even you can go back to Jamie Dimon saying Bitcoin is a fraud, this, that, and the third, but
Right.
go and research. They're buying it.
Well, they're probably doing that. In my opinion, they're doing that to drop the price so they can then buy
100%.
it more at a discount.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the game that they play. But I think if it all starts with truly knowing what you're investing in the first place, which gives you the confidence to continue to hold it and ignore what I call in my community is the smoke,
Yeah.
and understand exactly what you're looking at and what you're hearing.
No, it's extremely well said. Yeah, as more and more comes out, it'll be interesting to see like where it all unfolds. But the fact that Sam was able to get out on $250 million, which is not his money, is
Of
just
course.
utter bullshit.
Yeah, no, you know what we were actually talking about this the other day, Madison. Pretty much his parents put up a $4 million house. They didn't really put up the 250 million. They put up a house to bond them out. And who even knows? They could have just used that. This thing was so planned out. They could have had the house already on the sidelines for this purpose.
Well, why do you think that they made this guy the fall guy?
Well, because of who his parents are and because he's smart enough. He fits the criteria of a crypto billionaire, I mean, he has that look. And,
Yeah.
they think crypto people are all nerds. Yeah, we're nerds in this,
Do you think
certain
Sam knew he
aspect
was,
of it.
do you think Sam knew he was going to end up being the fall guy?
Of course. There's no way you couldn't. I mean, because even if you look at how much money went into marketing FTX, they knew they were going to use this. I mean, they put in all of the people who the average American would believe in, which is Mr. Wonderful, Kevin
Yeah.
O'Leary,
Yeah.
on Shark Tank, Tom Brady. Oh, Tom Brady puts his money on FTX. I'm going to put my money there too. The list goes on and on and on.
They're all
So
being
they
sued
put,
now.
well, even them, that I've already just heard that none of that is going to even stick because there was no regulations. This is why they did all this during this time, because they can get away with it.
I mean, it's just the whole thing is just so like insane and how many people got hurt. And it's just like,
It's sad.
holy shit. But I always tell people, you never learn true investment skills until you lose money. You almost have to lose money first before you really understand the game. Because I think what was happening is people they were investing similarly to how they would invest in the stock market, which is hold long term to avoid short term capital gains. And that way you'll have a lower tax rate. Where crypto is a different market. You needed to kind
Right.
of look at it and then sell and then get back in, sell, get back in, sell, at least take your money off the table, plus your profits. It was a little bit of a different animal. And I think people were just holding instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to sell and get back in.
No, 100%. I mean, I agree with that, but I also believe that people weren't aware of the difference, the principles of what cryptocurrency represents, which is decentralization.
Yes.
They didn't understand that. And I also think that, yeah, you need to lose some money in order to learn in this space, but some of these people have lost everything.
I know.
So there is no more getting back into crypto. I believe that was done on purpose because the opportunity is what was, it's the infrastructure. Just like we had in the 1900s,
Yeah.
where you were able to invest in the infrastructure. This is the same opportunity if you're investing in the right assets, but also if you have true ownership of your crypto, which is owning it
Exactly.
and storing it offline on cold storage wallets or any wallet where you own the seed phrases to. So
Yeah.
missing those key principles alone, you were going to end up losing anyways.
And what's so crazy is all the companies that have failed really operated on more of a centralized model and not a decentralized model. And crypto is meant to be decentralized and give the power to the people. And the companies that failed were when these bad actors came in and were operating on a centralized basis.
100%.
So they went against
100%.
the principle of the coin anyways, or the asset class.
Yes. Yeah, but they were playing on the stupidity of the sheeple. I call them the sheeple because they follow the herd. They follow Tom Brady. They follow Kevin O'Leary, and they don't research anything for themselves. And I think that's the biggest problem we face in the globe at large because we
lack
just
of critical thinking is a huge problem. It's not a problem
100%.
for the people at the top because they like that, but it's a problem for the rest of humanity. So always question everything, I say.
100%. 100%. Got to question it.
Yeah, what do you say to people? Because there's still people that are so naive that say crypto is going to zero. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Look at all this shit. I'm like, you don't understand it then.
Yeah, no, 100%. it's not going to zero. As I just stated, we're moving into a new economy. You have the same opportunity now that they had in the 1900s. And if you're watching the right people, the right sources like the World Economic Forum, the power players, the people who invented this game are telling you where the world is moving to. And we're moving into a digital economy, a physical world moving to the digital. That means the infrastructure is moving and you're now able to invest as long as you know the right assets. So me personally, just the other day, Jim Cramer is telling you to run away from crypto. If Jim Cramer is telling you to run away from crypto, you are about to miss out on the greatest opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, Jim Cramer's wrong on everything. How does he still have a show? It's crazy.
Because he's used to mislead the masses.
I know. It's like these people don't understand that there's life after this, and you better do good here to get that after.
Oh, 100%.
Crazy.
That's a whole different topic of conversation.
Right. That's the morality conversation, which these people clearly don't have.
Yeah, no, 100%. But honestly, I do equate the cryptocurrency opportunity. It's 90% spiritual and 10% physical, honestly, because if we just go back to the 1900s, you now have the opportunity to become the new 1%er because the world is shifting and it's moving. And they've been telling us this since time immemorial. If you look at television shows, TV shows, movies, they tell you the world is shifting. If you focus on the World Economic Forum, they meet at Davos every year and nobody seems to watch them or listen. The king was just talking about how this is a rapidly closing window of opportunity. And this is a chance for us to learn and reset ourselves, meaning the world is resetting, just like they did in the 1900s, where you can invest in the infrastructure. You're now able to do the same thing. People talk about leveling the playing field, but they don't know what that truly means. Have you heard of that term, leveling the playing field?
Yes.
So that's pretty much meaning we now are on the same level. We can invest like the big boys do, as long as we have the knowledge. But most people don't have the knowledge. They say the knowledge is power, but many people don't go for the knowledge. They just go for the surface level information they hear and receive it and believe it and just go off of that.
Yeah.
I just think it's sad, Madison.
We live in a kind of a sad world. That's why it's important to have gratitude every day and look at the things to be grateful for and the positives, because it's a dark world. We need to bring more light to it. So what is your kind of strategy, or how would you tell people to educate themselves to buy the right companies or asset classes?
Yeah. So, okay, on the mainstream media, when you watch the news, they normally talk about four or five different assets on about crypto. It's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and XRP, right? Now, if you're somebody who is coming from a place where you don't have a whole lot of money, because let's be honest, 40% of America doesn't even have $500 in their bank account in case of an emergency. So if you're coming from a place like that, and I did, I came from nothing. So I didn't just magically pop up and get to the place that I did, but I come from nothing as well. So I had to practice and go about it a different way. I had to ignore what was being said on the news, because normally there's three types of conversations that go on: the direct conversation, the indirect, and what's not being said. I love listening to the information that's not being said, because there's something there I need to know. So I ignore all of those assets they talk about, because I'm not even going to be able to own a full Bitcoin if I don't even have $500 in my bank. So I needed to go and find the lowest assets that I could acquire that can give me more bang for my buck. Here's one example that we see all the time. They tell us it is a household name, but nobody seems to even realize that it's there. Do you watch the UFC?
Yeah.
Okay, so people,
Occasionally, not all
millions.
the time, but yeah.
Okay, but millions of people watch They watch UFC. I don't watch it either. So, but they watch it and they see this asset on the ring called VeChain. Have you
Yeah.
seen it?
I know
Okay.
VeChain. Yes.
Okay. So VeChain is there. It's in millions of houses. They partnered with the UFC. They're underpinning all of the data and information that's being shared on UFC. They're enhancing them and taking them to the next level utilizing blockchain technology. And VeChain is working with some of the biggest companies in the world. Okay. Not only just in America, but across the globe. Now, they tell you every UFC fight, you see UFC, you see VeChain. They're telling you it's a household name because it's in your house. Millions of people are watching it, but many people haven't even grasped it. And I tell people all the time, go and buy VeChain. It's at like 2 cents right now. You're only going to make money if you're able to hold it. But you know what people tell me, Madison? They tell me, oh, it's a Chinese-based crypto asset, and da 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 da. I'm against China. Okay, then you're against making money. But it's partnered with an American company. So you go figure. Just buy the assets that they don't talk about. Buy assets that are partnered with Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies that we know, because like I said, the world is moving on to the blockchain. No matter how we like it, it's shifting there.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on those. VeChain is one. Hedera Hashgraph is another.
Yeah, I know Hedera.
Yeah. So, I focus on things of that nature because I can accumulate more bang for my buck as opposed to trying to get Ethereum or Litecoin or Bitcoin. People just buy Bitcoin because that's what they're told to do.
Yeah.
But the real value is on the assets they don't talk about on the mainstream media.
That are actually like really doing stuff.
Exactly.
So we've had Charles Hoskinson on this podcast. What is your opinion on Cardano?
Yeah, I got into Cardano very early. I like Charles Hoskinson. I like a lot of people that you've had on your podcast. You got some heavy hitters over there. So just for me, being you extended the invitation, is an honor, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
But no, I appreciate that. Yeah, so Charles Hoskinson is doing magnificent things over there with Cardano. We were early investors in that. And Cardano is going to be one of those blockchains that are, facilitating true decentralization. And if you look at who's also building upon Cardano and partnered with him is a company called SingularityNet. Since we are moving into the dawn of AI, AI is what's going to be more mainstream, and you can already see that with Chat GPT and other things, people utilizing and changing their profile pics with the AI. Yeah. So it's a slow introduction to what is getting ready to come. You're getting used to using Chat GPT, utilizing the AI to do things for you. But later down the line, there's going to be SingularityNet, where they have a marketplace that's all AI based, and they're partnered with Cardano. So,
interesting.
I look at things like that, and it's a slow evolution, just like Web3 is. We're not at Web3, but we're probably at 2.4, and I believe it's going to be sped up pretty rapidly coming forward because some events will play out to speed this stuff up, just like the C COVID event was. That introduced QR codes. I never knew about QR codes until COVID hit, and I was in this space, and I didn't want to use the QR code. But now we're using QR codes left and right.
I've got them on my business card.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's just the slow introduction, and we accept it.
Yeah. So
I just want people to accept that crypto is here. What you're hearing about it failing or being magical internet money, that's all narratives and terms to get you not to look at the truth. And the truth sets you free.
Right. So okay, so that's your opinion on that, meaning like they don't want us to know the truth because then we're free.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Ultimately, they
doesn't
want you locked up and enslaved.
right. Yeah, it doesn't benefit them to make everybody rich.
No. But that's why, you have people like me who are advocates and beacons of hope to give people true
Yeah.
information that can help, elevate and change their lives. Because I've changed mine and I have a community that I've helped people do the same, and we continue to do that. So,
Great.
I just want the little guy to win.
No.
I've been an underdog my entire life. So I understand.
Yeah. No, it's amazing stuff what you're doing. So, like when do you think we're going to see more companies starting to accept crypto as payment?
Yeah, well, honestly, there's companies all over the world that are accepting crypto. Um, and we're going to start to see more and more of that play out as we continue to go forward. Especially after regulations come in, we're going to see it ramp up rather
Mhm.
quickly.
Yes.
But it's already being accepted. You could buy houses with crypto. You can
Yeah.
buy cars with crypto. You can buy yachts with crypto. They're accepting it at many companies across the globe. I mean, this is a global initiative. The globe is changing and adopting the new way of doing things. So we're already seeing it, but it'll be ramped up as soon as regulation hit, which I believe will come first quarter of 2023.
Okay. And what do you think the regulation is going to look like?
Well, I believe that I don't know everything, but I believe that they're going to regulate stablecoins, CBDCs, uh, because that's the easiest. And cryptocurrency itself will be valued at what it's valued at, which would be the standard USD or digital yuan. I don't know, but I do know that regulations will hit in regard to stablecoins because that's the easiest thing to do. Everything is already every crypto asset is already dollar based anyways.
Yeah.
So, when we go to sell out, we sell into stable coins. And the only three commodities that have been deemed commodities in crypto is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT Tether.
Hmm.
But they don't want you to know that Tether is a commodity because they're always talking negative about it. Oh, Tether is going to fall. Tether is going out. They've been saying Tether is going away for years.
Yeah. Well,
And
they've
Tether
really
is still
ramped up on
here.
that lately.
Yeah. And you know why? I have a theory about that too. Um, if we really look at what Tether is embedded throughout the entire ecosystem, blockchain ecosystem.
Yep.
It's on every exchange, it's used everywhere. Actually, the digital yuan was just pegged to Tether running on the Tron network. So I believe that Tether is the true decentralized dollar. They don't want you in it because it's a commodity. That's why they tell you to run away from it. And I believe that USDC is the programmable money that they're going to be using and anything built on that network.
Those are
So
bad.
that's,
That's bad.
yeah, it is. But that's where we're headed.
So
And that's why,
how do we avoid that? Because they can then shut your money off if they don't like how you're behaving.
yes, how we avoid that is simple decentralization. And I think it's really understanding what centralization is and what decentralization is. Centralization, I'm sure you know this, but
Yeah.
many viewers may not. Centralization is where an organization, a company, has control over your assets or any information. So, like, let's say a Bank of America truly owns your money. You think you own the money, but they don't.
Yeah.
Decentralization, I truly own my money because Bank of America can't come and touch my crypto. They
Yep.
can't get my USDT. They can't get anything unless I give them access, which I would never. So that's where the true freedom lies. And really coming up, and this is just my theory, and people can take this for face value or not, but I believe that there will be an event where these banks, because it's already happening in the emerging markets, Nigeria, places like that, they're locking them out of these banks.
Yes.
Also, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling, I'm just very passionate
Oh,
when
I
it
like
comes to
this.
this.
Keep going.
So, but they tell us what is getting ready to happen, hidden in plain sight, and they use celebrities. So we saw what happened with Kanye West. J.P. Morgan wouldn't allow him to bank. They shut off his banking. Wendy Williams, she has no access to her funds in Wells Fargo. Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate, they tried to lock him out of his accounts. Didn't told him he couldn't bank here. He went full decentralization. They're telling you this because what is getting ready to happen on a mass level, which is already happening on a global level, is people are going to be locked out of their accounts. The money will shift from what we knew on Bank of America to now CBDCs. They're going to do something called a bail-in, which is take your money. And I believe even rich people who have their funds in these bank accounts, they're going to have it far worse off because they believe that they're going to get their money back on that side, on the new side of CBDCs. But I think it will be a long process, just like it's going to be for these individuals who lost money on FTX, Voyager, and things of that nature. Just look at the timing of these things. Look at the new, which is actually dropping on January 5th, Bernie Madoff. So I just think this is bigger than what we can, conceive. And I think that people really need to understand fast, really quick, because there's not a lot of time. You need to understand what decentralization is.
Exactly. So here, okay. So when let's say Bank of America moves your money that's in your account right now there to these CBDCs, which I hope that people will fight and they won't pass. And then let's say it's $100,000 and you want to take that $100,000 and go buy a house and VeChain, for an example.
Yeah.
They're not going to allow you to do it.
Well,
Or are they like how it's frightening what's happening?
No, it really is. So here's the deal. I'm not saying that they won't let you buy a house, but I'm pretty sure that they can program it to where you won't be able to buy VeChain because you've already missed that opportunity. The window of opportunity for you to buy VeChain has already closed because you have the opportunity to buy VeChain now because we haven't shifted over there yet. But once that shift happens, I don't believe you're going to be able to buy VeChain in that manner. I believe you might be able to do it, but you're going to have to go through different channels than the channels that are currently here. I mean, they do it all the time. They've stopped me from buying crypto before.
I'm just like at a loss for words because it's so frightening. And it's like I've mentioned on this podcast numerous times with other crypto people, like, decentralization is good. CBDCs is bad. The first word in it is centralization. Centralization is what we need to move away from. As soon as they have programmable money, the government gets one whiff of what you said or I said on this podcast, and they shut us off.
100%.
That is a very scary thing. But luckily, there's other people who are against this narrative that are very, very rich. How can we fight them from doing this? How do we prevent this?
Well, I don't believe that we could prevent what is getting ready to come. I think the best way to fight it is to operate in a decentralized manner. That's the only way, because that's the only way to true freedom.
But here's the scary part for people. Majority of people in this country or in the world work for somebody else. So they have W-2 income. Mm-hmm. And they'll probably be paid in these centralized digital dollars.
If they have a job.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know, and you might know because you're very smart, but
oh man,
in 2023, every month, 200,000 people will be jobless.
In 2023. And are they blaming it
Yeah.
on the upcoming recession that I think we're already in?
Well, yeah, they're blaming it on that, but we're moving into the fourth industrial revolution where robots, drones, algorithms, AI will be replacing human beings. I live in California. DoorDash is already delivering, Postmates is already delivering with robots. Did you know one of my community members is in New York and now is the opportunity to take an Uber by copter? And even that Uber copter is running on blockchain technology because that's the only way that you could introduce these new levels of technology, new enhancements. So we're going to be introducing autonomous vehicles. We don't need humans to drive.
No.
The cars can do it, and they can pay themselves in cryptocurrency. So people who don't know have it far worse. And that is why these conversations on your podcast and things that I'm doing, they're needed because knowledge is power. If you don't have the knowledge, you definitely will not be empowered.
I know. So what's going to happen to all these people that don't have jobs?
They're going to be forced into the metaverse. They'll be forced into these new economies, which are play to earn gaming. Gaming is one. But if you pay attention to a series called Black Mirror, I believe it was episode 3 or 2, don't quote me. Basically, people are going to be, everything that we do in life now, we're going to be earning rewards, money for it. So moving to earn, working out, playing to earn, listening to earn, reading to earn, watching to earn, things of that level. New economies are going to be introduced, and we as humans will have more time on our hands. Think about what happened with this lockdown situation. And by the way, people are still locked down in China.
Yeah.
So that introduced us and programmed us to be comfortable with staying home. How many people are now home? They don't want to go to work.
Right. The remote jobs. Yep. Uh-huh.
So because of that, they're playing on that fact and going to introduce new ways to earn money. And not only that, people who are not earning enough money, you're going to be introduced with something called UBI, Universal Basic Income, which will be CBDCs that are programmable. So that's what they're going to be doing. And they'll use AI services and do cool things with them. You're going to have a lot of people turn to games like Axie Infinity, what it did for people in the Philippines. It gave them new opportunity, new life, new ways to earn money than what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them were able to, elevate. So there's gonna be some good, but if you don't know what's coming, it's gonna look like it's bad.
So there is going to be good even though there's programmable money.
Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad, right? There's always a happy balance. And it goes back to the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing but be happy.
We don't like that. So, that's terrible.
Yes, that's why it's valuable for you to understand what decentralization is, because that is the true ownership. And you'll be able to own things if you're operating in a decentralized manner. But people are going to lose it. It's sad, but a lot of people are going to lose cars. They're already losing them. They're losing homes. It's going to be a renter's world. People are going to be renting. They're not going to own cars, so they're going to move to autonomous vehicles that are sharing, pick up everybody. We're going to be moving to that. I mean, people are already used to it in New York.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like I feel like there's so many freedom fighters though that are going to try to fight back against certain things. it's crazy. The American dream is to own a home, and to not be able to do that and waste your money on rent every month is just sickening.
Not true. No, it is. But I have to question the freedom fighters. Where are they at when the fight needs to happen before it ends up there? We should be fighting now. There's only so many of me.
Right.
Freedom fighters are not fighting when they need to fight. They're only fighting after the fact, which is already too late.
Well, it's like people are trying to like put out information, and it was censored for so long. Now, luckily with Twitter, it's not going to be, but you just don't know. Like, I have so many people that I talk to that are only watching mainstream media, and they're the people that are saying like, we're not in a recession, the economy's fabulous, crypto's
Yeah.
going to zero. And I'm like, stop, do yourself a favor and stop watching the news, because you have no clue what's going on. Like, and
Right.
I'm talking like this person that like recently told me this, like, they're like in real estate, like an attorney.
Yeah.
And I was like, are
Yeah.
you that brainwashed? Like, that you can't think for yourself, to think like, you think that eggs being up 50% is a great economy? What? I don't know what planet you live on. And I'm thinking like, didn't your work just dry up? You're in real estate? Like, this is, but there's people,
Yes.
because that's all they watch, that's all they know, and they were brainwashed or believe, trust what the government tells you. If the government says or the news says that we're in a good position, or this one CEO of this company said, no, the economy looks great, you're just going to believe
Hmm.
that?
Yep.
It's just, it's frightening. And it's some of these people are so far gone that you can't even have a conversation to try to tell them like, no, 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 no. But I'm like, good luck.
Yeah. No. Madison, you're totally right. These people are so far gone, you cannot save them.
No.
And that's why we can only speak. And if we resonate with certain people, they're drawn to us, and we can help shift their perspective. But you're right. There's so many people in, high level jobs. I talk to them all the time
Yeah.
that don't know what they don't know. And I'm not here to convince anybody or make them believe the truth, because if they're saying it at the World Economic Forum, which a lot of these people don't even watch, they'll watch more Jim Cramer than they do what they're saying at Davos.
Mm-hmm.
Got to just leave them where they are, because
I agree. There's nothing you
it's
can do. And again, like, I just want to reiterate, like, this is not a political conversation by any means. What we are saying is like two different opinions. Like, take the political parties out of this conversation and just think about it from like the top people that are kind of like running everything, and how they want to keep you at the bottom. And you as a
correct.
listener, because I know the World Economic Forum is not listening to this podcast. I mean, they might when
Right,
they
right.
get wind of it, but you need to educate yourself, because those people are not your friends. They want to do everything they
Right.
can to stay in power and to make money. This is not a political podcast. This is a podcast to help educate you as an individual who is going to be affected by this. This is the
Yes.
podcast to make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. So this is not, when I say turn off the mainstream media, I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about MSNBC. I'm talking about Fox News. I'm talking about CNN, all of it. Just
Yeah.
try and tune it out, and like get business information when you can. Um, because yeah, it's a very scary. So I don't want people being like, oh, well, she's blah, 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 blah. We should all be freedom fighters. The liberals, the Republicans, the independents, we need to maintain our freedom, because that is where we can thrive and we can grow and we can help more people. If we are completely
Yep.
controlled and have programmable money or limited resources or renting instead of owning, we can't do more good in the world and donate more money to charity, because we're going to be limited. So everybody here, this is a humanity conversation. This is not a political conversation. So I just wanted to put that in there. So
Yeah.
people
No, you have
understand
to.
what's
You
going
have to. People can hear one
on.
thing
People
and
are
it's like,
so
oh,
brainwashed. We're like, freedom, freedom. It's just a right-wing podcast. No, this is an
yes,
independent
exactly.
podcast. We stay away from politics because it divides people. What we're doing here is educating the masses, because I don't want I don't want the governments to win and control us. I want humanity to win. That's what we want.
Yep. Same. I share that same sentiment. I don't even vote, so that's neither here nor there. But I'm neutral on everything. And you know, I'm a very strong believer on being open-minded and being receptive to everybody's perspective.
Amen.
Um,
And that's how we all should be. And the world would be a
yeah,
much more peaceful place. But when people
yeah,
are sitting there and you're going, "Oh, I really love the crypto space," and then you've got somebody who only watches MSNBC coming at you going, "It's going to fucking zero." You're like, "Dude, okay,
yeah,
well, don't come to me for a loan when you're, can't get a house, you know?"
100%. No, you know what's so funny about this, Madison? There's so much opportunity if
Yes.
you can get outside of what they're telling you on the media, mainstream media. And then you also have to be careful who you're watching on YouTube because you have bad actors there too.
So, what is your advice to get information that is not being fed via TV for people to educate themselves?
Okay, now it's getting very tough to find people who are not compromised, but who also don't have a need for money or views, of giving authentic information. So, me personally, you gotta find the people who can't be bought, who
Those,
are
yeah.
not accepting money to talk about certain things, to put out this narrative. Anytime you hear a group of people spewing out the same information about one particular asset, ha ha ha, you need to run away from it. I think you need to start looking at, be open minded to who you're receiving information from, because we don't all look the same way. We're not all in suit and ties like you're used to seeing on the mainstream media. We're not all the same color. We're coming in different colors and different creeds. And you just have to be open to perspectives. Be open to hearing something from somebody who says something that you may not agree with.
Hmm.
Because just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
You're only setting yourself up for, a miss of an opportunity or a miss of a perspective change. So I would say be open to people, and then also take note of who you're seeing on this podcast. You know, Madison talks to great people. Um, Take interest and note of those types of individuals and investigate truth on your own terms a little bit. But I would just say be open minded, and you know, you want to just, sometimes you just have to take a seed, and then it might just lead you down the rabbit hole a little bit, and maybe it's needed, but try to stay away from anybody who's mainstream.
Yeah. No, I agree because they all have kind of an end game, so to say, whether it's trying to bring down the price of crypto so they can get in earlier,
Yep.
what the media does and what they drive on is fear. Fear keeps you tuning in, right? So
Yep.
the less fear you can have, the better off you're going to be. And I always like to say, and I've said this on other podcasts I've been on, but the quickest way to eliminate fear is to just know the fact that you're going to die at any moment. And you
Right.
can
Right.
determine that. You can do things to help prevent it, but
Yeah.
you don't determine it, but you are going to die. So why are you going to live in utter fear and let people scare you when you know you're going to die anyways? So you might as well just embrace life and the goodness and the faith and say, you know what, I'm not going to be scared anymore. Because the scariest
100%.
thing for everyone is going to happen anyways. So why spend your life when you're here living and breathing, fearing about what's going to happen to you anyways one day?
No, 100%.
There's no fear. There's no room for fear. You have nothing to fear.
Yeah. Nothing. Nothing at all to fear. I used to sell life insurance, and people are even in fear of getting life insurance because they feel like they're gonna die.
You
You
are.
attract what you believe, Well, we are gonna die. We just don't know when, and we don't know how. You
Exactly.
know, that's already predetermined. So you know, even facing your fears, like I always challenge myself. Anything I'm fearful of, I run towards it.
Yep.
So if you're in fear of getting life insurance, ladies and gentlemen, you need to run towards it because life insurance is a benefit for those you care about.
Mm-hmm.
People are too emotional, and some people are too selfish. They don't want to get something because, uh, they don't want to bring death onto themselves. Well, you're gonna die anyways. You don't know when, but leave some money for your people because I'm tired of seeing people raising money for funerals when you can
I know.
get a simple policy.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, don't let the fear drive you. Now, I want to talk about a coin that is brought up a lot, has had a lot of the SEC basically up their asshole, XRP. And I want to get
Yeah.
your opinion on that because I keep seeing through certain media or certain, online channels, that once the lawsuit goes away or whatever, it's going to explode and that the government's actually going to be running on XRP.
No. Okay. So when I also said to avoid uh, YouTubers who talk about one particular asset continuously, those individuals have to be being paid behind the scenes. Now, let's go back to this. I believe that XRP is used to derail people and keep people trapped in a maze that they cannot see because they're being fed hopium every day. People who are in XRP, and let's be clear, I used to hold XRP. I was a believer until I saw the light and I was awoke from the truth. And once I saw the truth, I saw exactly what this was. And a lot of people didn't believe me, but they're starting to believe me now because I had a lot of naysayers. People were attacking me when I started to show the other side of the coin. I was talking about XRP, but as soon as I switched, they were all coming after me. Lost a lot of viewers, but I want to be authentic. I want to talk about real stuff. So I personally believe XRP was designed to mislead people and keep people hoping and wishing for something that is not going to come. I believe here's why I say what I'm saying though. It's already been a known fact that Ripple owns majority 60%, 60+% of the asset. They're now saying that they own a little less than 50%, but we don't even know if that's true. So if you're running a business, you have a business partnership and you own 60% and I own 40, who has control?
The one with the most shares.
The most, exactly. So you can manipulate things in your own direction. So that is what's been happening. I believe that even this case was an orchestrated event, because even if you go back to who created XRP, it's Jed McCaleb. That was his first cryptocurrency that he created. But see, XRP was the first generation. He then stepped off and created Stellar, which was the better version of XRP, which is XLM. If you look at all the partnerships that were partnered with XRP, like MoneyGram, they have left XRP and adopted XLM. Stellar Development Foundation is always in talks with the government. At every hearing, Danelle Dixon is everywhere.
Wow.
They are the ones that are truly chosen. But see, you never hear about XLM, Stellar, because they always put what they want you to buy and never what they don't want you to buy. The true value is XLM because it's everything that XRP is not.
Interesting. Is it the same company or is it just the same founders?
It's the same guy who created it. Jed McCaleb is the one who created it. It's separate entities. and it's operating how it should operate. XRP, in my honest opinion, because even if we go back to 2021, I told people where the most money was going to be made. And in 2021, the most money was made in gaming and metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
XRP didn't do anything. I saved people losses of money. Had one of my most prized students. He listened to what I was saying. He sold all of his XRP and bought the assets that I was giving him, and he became a millionaire because of that. Had he not made those moves, he would still be in the same position he is, waiting on XRP. People thinking it's going to go to 10,000, but you're still in a lawsuit. That Stan Bankman-Fried has went to jail. People have lost millions. Now he's freed on bond, and XRP, Ripple, whatever, is still in a lawsuit. Like, come on, guys.
It's insane.
And Stellar is making all of these major plays, doing real things with real adoption. And the truth is, these banks that people are so possessed on, they don't even really need to use XRP. They're using Ripple technology. They don't need XRP. XRP is open source technology, and Ripple owns most of it.
You mean Stellar?
No,
okay.
XRP is open source technology.
Yeah,
that Ripple owns most of. But the true value, the true chosen one out of XRP and XLM is XLM. You don't never hear about it, but they're making the most moves behind the scenes.
Interesting. I know it's just so crazy because so in your opinion, they're not wanting people to buy because they just want to hold it for themselves.
They're not wanting people to buy what? XRP?
XLM.
Well, yeah, they don't anything the mainstream media doesn't put focus on, they don't want you to know about it. That is why I said the three types of conversation is the direct conversation, the indirect, and the one that's not being said.
Yep.
Most of the people, they watch the mainstream media, so they're only hearing about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and XRP. When you shift over to YouTube media, the first thing you're going to hear is Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and XRP. XRP, they talk about it. There's so many influencers talking about it, and they're giving these bogus claims. Oh, it's going to 10,000. It's going to 5,000. And people buy into that. Why? Because they've already used to accepting surface level information just like they do on the mainstream. And because it plays into their ego and their emotions, it feeds them hopium. They hope it's going to go, but it ain't never going to happen.
Interesting. Okay. Good to know.
VeChain, Hedera Hashgraph, Stellar. Those are just three that I will say that you'll have way better returns. And like we said at the top, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. But I have made a great deal of money from my advice.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, listen to me or not. But again, it's opinion, so always do your research. What do you think
100%.
about another person we've had on this podcast, Algorand?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe Algorand is a great asset. It's heavily adopted behind the scenes. I own Algorand as well. And Algorand is definitely one to hold and one to watch.
Yeah. So when do you think we're going to see our next bull run in the crypto market?
I believe, honestly, we're going to see some major events play out in 2023, unexpected events. And I believe once these events play out, once regulations comes, I believe that we're going to see a rise in the overall market cap. But I do believe there's different sectors within crypto which are going to accelerate at rapid speeds, which is AI, Internet of Things, gaming. I believe these things are going to take off like none before. They're going to have a mind of its own, and no pun intended. But even in AI, they've already predicted that by 2025, AI market cap is due to be 150 trillion.
Wow.
And it can only enhance because of blockchain technology. That's why you're seeing and hearing about AI now. And you're going to hear about it even more and even more.
So
So,
what are some coins that are heavily focused on AI?
I gave one partnered with Cardano, Singularity Net, AGIX. So that's a
Okay.
good place to start.
AGIX. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then so you mentioned Internet of Things.
Mm-hmm.
What are some coins in that space that you think have a lot of potential? I know helium
IOTech
is a
would
big
be,
one.
say that again?
Helium
Helium?
is a big Internet of Things
Yeah,
device.
helium is one. You could look at helium. But even helium was attached to that whole FTX Solana fiasco.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they just
so
moved on to the Solana blockchain. The whole
right,
migration's happening now.
right. So, but I believe that helium was they held a lot of helium. But me personally, there's better opportunities than helium. One would be IOTEX. Of course, there's others, but I'll give IOTEX. That's a big heavy hitter.
And what do they do?
Internet of Things. They're the infrastructure.
What's their coin symbol?
IOTX.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, this is such a fascinating conversation. I wish we could just like keep it going. We're gonna have to have you come back for a part two after the
Oh
first
yeah,
quarter,
yeah.
and kind of see where
Absolutely.
where things are. So when do you think we're actually gonna see kind of the physical dollar disappear?
Well, I think we're already seeing that right now. I mean, China is doing away with the dollar and attaching the digital yuan to their oil. The dollar is worthless.
Yeah.
People who know. It's just the rest of the people don't know.
But a
So
lot of
I
people
already
like
think
to get paid in cash. I mean,
pay
housekeeper,
me in crypto.
lawnmowers. Exactly, I know. Because they're like, oh, it's not trackable. But yeah, it's just a frightening. It's the future's bright, but it's also a little scary. But it's scary if you don't have knowledge. So knowledge is
Right,
power. So the more you can educate yourself, the better prepared you're going to be. So you're not ending up in a situation like China, where you said, I don't like the government, and now you can't buy food. We
right.
don't want that.
Yeah.
Do you think that would ever happen here? Because
I
if
mean,
so,
I
I'm
do
screwed.
think,
Because I don't agree with what the government's doing. I don't think they have our interest in mind anymore. It's
yeah, no,
all
I'm
about
totally
them.
with you. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I do believe we're gonna follow what China is doing. We're already leading in that direction.
I've heard though that if America falls, which would be doing what China does, is when, and we can't predict this, we can't say anything about it, but because you're not supposed to predict, but that's when Jesus returns.
That's you know, um,
It's a whole other conversation.
yeah, that is it's a very deep conversation.
Yeah,
But okay, here's the
I've
deal.
heard.
I think I I believe that there's still some more time before we even approach that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's just frightening because I hear it's like you need to have a positive outlook on life and know that God's always in charge and
Mhm.
not live in fear, but you need to have the knowledge. But for me, somebody who doesn't have a child, right? I'm sitting here hearing this conversation and going, thank God I don't have a child. Thank God I don't think I want to bring somebody into this world where it's going. And that's a horrible, horrible thing to even say or think. Because when did we get so backwards that we're starting to question keeping humanity going? So it's a very like this is one of the most fascinating conversations I've had on the podcast, but it's also one of the most frightening. And it's frightening because what you're saying is true, and we need to be prepared. Because I don't
100%.
see like a lot of rose-colored glasses here. I'm seeing like, oh shit, there's more
Let me
work I
check
need
if
to
he's
do
still.
too.
Nah, no rules over here. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're right. You know, it is scary. You do question about bringing life into the world because of what's happening.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like, you know, if you're led to bring in a child, you know, there's a reason for it, you know.
Well, I keep telling myself every time I get somewhat fearful or I get angry about what's happening, I just say, you know what, God is always in charge. And you have to
Mhm.
know that and you have to believe it. And evil can only go so far before the light will always drown out the darkness. And so
100%.
you just have to stay in your faith and do what you can to better humanity. And that's why I say turn off the news, because then you have more positive people that are going to create more of a positive environment.
No, 100%. And you know, just to put the fear at ease, it's always been predicted that the light always wins.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't
So
feel like it right now with everything going on, but
that's where that faith comes into play.
exactly. Yes. And I think we're at a point in life where our faith is truly being tested.
100%. Because even me, when I came into crypto, I had to believe in the unseen. That's why I said it's 90% spiritual and only
Yeah.
10% physical. Because you have to believe in what's not here already. I didn't see the millions physically, but I see the millions. I see billions
Yep.
because of what the technology is and what, I mean, this is all data. Blockchain it's just nothing but data running on top of it. And what do they say? They say data is the new oil. So if data is the new oil, and I have the right protocols to the infrastructure of the new economy, which runs all that data, woo, that's a whole lot of money. But you got to
Exactly.
be able to
Future is
see
bright.
that.
Yes.
Exactly. It's right. So, you know, I just say, you know, be receptive to the truth, question everything, and don't believe everything you see. And
Amen.
I feel like if you keep God first and keep your faith intact, you will see the fruits and trust God because I come from nothing. I've had some of the biggest people in Hollywood attack me. I shouldn't even be here. I should have been dead a long time ago.
Who attacked you?
But my
You have to
faith.
get into that. Who attacked you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We can tell. Eddie Murphy attacked me behind the scenes. Wendy
For what?
Williams played a part in it. You know, for what? I don't know. I mean, me personally, I believe that he's insecure. There's a lot of battles going on, and I don't believe I was the first. I'm just the first one who rose up and continued to elevate. I believe they really wanted me to die off into a ditch, but
What was
I
it?
just
What
believe.
was it that they came after you for?
Well, they came after me because they wanted me not to do what I was doing, which was
Which is
nothing.
educate people on crypto?
No, this had nothing to do with crypto. I mean, I moved out and to California to pursue a career in acting and comedy. I started,
Interesting.
yeah. I started to rise rapidly. We put our own money up. You know, we created our own tours. We marketed strategically, and I believe that he didn't like it. People called me Eddie Murphy's son, this, that, and the third, and they tried to pretty much create this whole narrative about me being an imposter, a fake, a phony. And you know, he who has the control to the media, they can put the narratives out there, and they know people are already going to believe anything the news says. So they tried to paint a picture of me that was false. They utilized the National Enquirer. They
What?
utilized TMZ, Wendy Williams, and I had everybody turn against me. I lost a lot of opportunities. But the great thing is, they didn't break me. God had his hand on me throughout this entire time. They thought that I was going to die in a ditch. But
So they
see,
didn't like
I'm
you because you were becoming too successful?
too successful and they wanted to kill it. They wanted to kill me before they even knew what was getting ready to come. But see, the thing is,
Why were
they
they
can't
so
stop.
threatened?
You have to ask Eddie Murphy. I believe he's done this. Well, I know he's done this to a lot of people. He has a control power, a power. He just loves the power and loves to be in the number one spot. And they really only want certain people to be in certain positions. So when you rise up on your own, they try to kill you instantly because they want control over you. They
And
want to be the
who's
ones to
they?
say,
Who's they?
the powers that be, the people that control Hollywood, Eddie Murphy, the gatekeepers,
So
uh,
they're all basically bought.
of course, they're all bought and paid for. And
But look
they
what happened to
Eddie
Wendy Williams. Why are they getting rid of her?
karma for doing what they did to a chosen one. Everybody, let me say this, Madison, and it's so sad. But everybody who has come against me, because there's been a lot of them, they
Wow.
are dropping dead like flies. Not that I wish death on anybody.
No.
And the karma has been reaped. Even Tiffany Haddish, she played a part in this demise as well. And look at the karma with her. I mean, I got a lot of people. There's a list of people, but karma is still coming for those who haven't gotten the karma yet. And the chosen ones in all fields are rising up. And anybody who has ever been in a situation where you were crushed behind the scenes because you didn't have the power, you didn't have the voice, you didn't have the media, I'm that beacon of hope who used that situation and found the light. And now they can't stop me.
Good for
So
you.
that's why I'm here in crypto. Yeah. So, that whole ordeal led me to this. And I'm thankful for it. Thank you, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Eddie. We gotta come. We gotta do a part 2 and just have you talk about your Hollywood stuff. I mean, that is
No.
boom, like
Yeah, it's
mind-blowing.
crazy.
So where can people
But this
find
is
you?
Yeah, you can find me on several platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Brando Murphy Official. It's spelled correctly. I got some scammers out there. Brando Murphy Official on Instagram. Follow my YouTube channel, Bigger Than Race. I'm on Twitter, Brando Murphy _. Follow me at those places. Follow me on Instagram mainly. Follow me on YouTube. Get this crypto knowledge and just follow the truth. Find real authentic people out here in the world because we're here and we have things to share to help you elevate.
Yes, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. Well, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
coming on this episode, and thank you to everybody who's listening, wherever you may be. We will see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@next2madison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.